Peace be with everyone. Y'all, it's time for the Sacrament meeting, the Fast and Furious. Excuse me. Look, and I switched to water because you guys motivated me, but also I did switch to drugs too. So, you know, right? You gotta throw it around somewhere. Low key, I actually couldn't find it. And I was like, wow, HG hit me, man. HG's my shorthand for Holy Ghost. Saying 2 syllables when I can just say, it sounds cooler, right? HG. It sounds a little bit more ominous, right? Because HG hid this from me. I couldn't even find it. I walked around for a hot minute and I was like, And it doesn't help that this photo's sitting right here looking at me. Oh, y'all. But I found it. Ha! Look at this judgment. Look at the judgment. Y'all, as I'm talking to you right now, I'm gonna put this in here. Cause it was just a little intimidating, guys. I have my safety blanket. I can't be as honest about doing drugs if I have literally a picture of Jesus right in front of me, okay? Guys, so it's working, it's working. See, this is working. Huh, that's intriguing. Oh, guys, this is working. I love this. Okay, right? I got uncomfortable literally with a picture of Jesus in front of me, so I put him in a tin can. But now I feel bad doing that. So maybe I'll take him out. Okay, I'll take him out and I'll put him right here, so I have to look at him as I do drugs. So this will make it worse. This is what I'm dealing with right now, okay? Just so you guys are aware. So I'm working on it, okay? Judgment eyes. I'll wrap in my coat, my new quilt, my comfort quilt. I'm working on it, JC, man. I'm working on it, okay? Anyways, I went to the Fast and Furious meeting, and oh my gosh, so cool. So I went to this different ward, and we're going to start from the very beginning about how I even got here, because this is the story I told. Oh, I got hot again. This is the story I told when I went up there. Because what I was going to do is I was going to save my other story, because I took Yeti on a walk. So I'm going to start, hold on. Oh, so many stories. Right? Because I was just so excited to go to the Fast and Furious. And so what I was going to do, I was going to tell a story, because this is what the LDS community inspired me to be, right? Because I realized, like, y'all have like 7 or 8 kids. That's like standard, like dot period, right? Like, it's rare to be like a 1-2 child household. And so I was like, well, I just have one. I have one dog. I should be able to like raise her like a child, right? I want to be able to relate to like women that have like women that have actual like human children. And so I took her to McDonald's earlier this week, and a common theme that I noticed and I kept harping on to people was that it's so extraordinary how these missionaries, like, you guys raise them to prepare them for the world, right? The chaos of the world is completely unexpected. And I realized as I raised Yeti and I'll take her on our walks, I was like, man, I hold you back a lot. You just want to explore, because every now and then I'll like take her off her leash and she'll like kind of run around. Then could we go in like this loop in our neighborhood? And seeing how all these like young men and women are leaving their homes, and how the parents have raised them, the teachers have raised them, and trusting that they're going to be safe. Like, they did a good enough job to like let their kid go and like spread their wings. And then these kids trust their parents enough to be like, I'm ready to spread my wings as well. You've prepared me enough, therefore I'm doing this. And it inspired me, because I was like, man, I don't know if I am raising my Yeti right, if I'm raising my kid right, in order to feel comfortable like that, where I feel confident that I could let her off her leash and know that she's safe, right? Have I raised her and I taught her well enough that I can trust her to do that? Do I trust myself to do that? And seeing all of you guys and seeing how successful all of you are, even when, right, you let go and you let your kids go out into the world and stuff. Like, we have to let go at some point, right? My parents had to let me go, right? I think they were like counting that from the day I was born. They're like, we can't wait to get you out of our house. You're going to be a trouble child. Right? Things were adventurous in my house. But, you know, honestly, they were only adventurous because I liked playing outside, okay? I didn't do anything bad. Like, y'all, I did it, shockingly, this is why I'm such a late bloomer. I never did drugs or drank really in high school, because I just wasn't into it. It wasn't my vibe. And then, like, I would DD for my friends, and they would, like, hot box in the back seat, because I would always be the one that drove them around, because I just had no desire to do it. But then I tried to do high school drinking, 'cause I thought it was cool, right? I was trying to be cool with everyone. I think I told in one story where I was so scared that like people could smell the alcohol that I like chugged mustard, right? But I stopped doing all that when I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy again. Completely like stopped any desire to like, I turned into like total, like if you ever think of someone that's like a total academy nerd, that like super socially awkward and like can't talk about anything except for like Air Force or like, you know, like airplanes or something, right? Getting into the Air Force Academy, that was me, right? Anyone that didn't talk to me about the Air Force Academy, they weren't my friend. So I didn't have many friends. Once I decided I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy, right? Because I was a dumb kid, right? I went to the prep school. Anyways, sidetrack. How did I get off on this story? JC, you're distracting me, man. I'm gonna distract you. Oh yeah, so going to this ward though. Oh yeah, this is the story I was gonna tell, but I decided it was too long-winded, obviously, right? For a Fast and Furious testimony, so I saved it for this. And so when I was walking her the other night, it was a little bit later than I normally do, I think, or I don't know. Whenever I walk her is really random, but when I was walking her at that time, I think it was actually closer to midnight. I realized what time it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? And I was thinking about LDS. Right? I'm obviously thinking about you guys a lot, because you guys are so inspiring, because I obviously, like, people don't act on things that unless they're thinking about it. I'm obviously thinking about you guys. Isn't that sweet? And so I decided to let her off her leash. I was scared. It was like a 2-mile walk. It's like a 2-mile route-ish. So it's a decent walk, right? Midnight, and it had just rained, and so it was kind of foggy out. And I always wear my headphones when I'm walking her, because it's my think time. And so I was like, you know what? I stopped. I was actually in the middle of the road because there's no one around, right? It's midnight. And I was like, this is the perfect time to try to like feel the empty nest vibe, right? To let her go, to see like how well do I trust myself? Did I raise her enough? Did I raise her well enough to let her go? And by the time I get home, that we'll meet up again, like, right? Because every couple times I've let her off her leash, she loves to go look at, run up to every house. She'll run up to every house and then come back down, and she's just exploring. I tried it a couple times and I realized she's exploring, she's curious. And so I reasoned to myself, okay, if she ever gets out, because sometimes I just lose track of her. No, I don't. I don't. Like, she got out once, okay? And she was gone for a hot minute. And it was like over 100 degrees out. And I honestly gave up looking for her. I posted signs up because I was like frantic. It was pretty rough. That's a different story though. My neighbor actually ended up finding her. Thank God for my neighbor. And after that moment, I was just like, I need to do something different, because the feeling I felt when my heart sank, realizing that like I was helpless. Like I had no rhyme or reason to even believe that she would ever be found again. And so if that situation ever happened again, I decided after that moment that happened, I was like, I need to get her more comfortable with her environment so she can at least, because dogs remember smells and stuff, right? My kid's special. She can smell different than other kids. And so I was like, I got to get her familiar with the environment. And so like last week or something, I took her off her leash. And as soon as I sat her down and I looked at her, she knows how to sit and stuff, right? And I take her to the gym all the time. She's familiar with like commands and kind of exploring, right? I'm kind of giving her a little bit more rein. Cause y'all, like letting her off a leash, oof. Okay, this is what happened. She's aware when she's about to get let off, because I like sit her down and give her a talk, be like, just like, behave yourself, you know, representing me, like behave yourself. And then she just takes off. So I sat her down and I was just like, Kitty, I'm trusting you. I'm just gonna let you off this leash. I trust that you're gonna be aware as you go explore. You're gonna be aware of where I'm at. Literally, as soon as I let her go, she's gone. Takes off. Gone. And this dog darts like she is a quick little thing. Ugh. And my heart sank, because I made the decision that I was like not gonna look for her. I was just gonna keep walking our route and not stop, not wait for her until I got home. And then once I got home, I'm just gonna hope that she's there with me. That was my plan. Right? Right? Like, what? How else am I going to test this, y'all? Like, at least I'm in a gated neighborhood, okay? Like, ugh. And that was a hard decision to make because one time my dad, oh, this is a really sad story, actually. One time my dad, after my parents got divorced, he got a cat. I think because he was lonely. And he even trained the cat to use the spare bathroom, right? The bathroom, he trained it to be trained to use the toilet. And it had an automatic flusher. He programmed the toilet to like automatically flush it. Every now and then he'd just go in there and flush it just to say that he's proud of her or whatever. I don't know. But the cat literally used the toilet, it was his little buddy. Like, she was his little buddy. After my parents got divorced, and he was in the house by himself. I think he was just trying to, like, scold her, like, put her in timeout, because she's an indoor cat only. Put her in timeout. And so he just put her on the doorstep, outside on the porch, for like 15 minutes, just to put her in timeout. And when he went to go look, she was gone. And he never found her again. And he's never got a cat since then. Because I think he's beating himself up for what he did. Because he blames himself for her. Okay? And he actually was so upset by it. And I was stationed in Turkey when he told me about this. Bro, I was upset too. Because I was aware of what that cat meant to him. And so I even paid companies when I was in Turkey. I remember paying companies, and I posted $1,000 reward for her, saying any information, and I said I did as much as I could as from where I was at, and never found her. And my dad was so hurt by it because there's coyotes in the area. He was so upset that he sought vengeance, and so he set up traps to trap the whatever came at night, whatever got her. And he ended up, I think, killing a couple coyotes, but then one time he stopped putting traps out. No, he didn't kill coyotes then, because after he set the traps out, because he was so angry that he lost her. But he ended up trapping a gray fox. And gray foxes, y'all, they're rare and they're beautiful, just so beautiful. And he felt so hurt, right? Now he suffered double whammy. My dad is like a Native American in a white man's body. That man loves nature and animals, respects it like nobody's business. And so that hit him even harder, that he killed a gray fox, which I think in the symbolism and stuff like that, it's very symbolic and sacred. And he just felt because he was aware that what he was trying to do, he was trying to seek vengeance on the coyotes. And when he accidentally killed that gray fox, he just it crushed his soul. It was and so he stopped it, and he just never got a cat after that. He never got a pet after that. That was a hot minute ago. Anyways, that's not even my story. Okay, so I let Yeti off her leash, and she took off. And I was like, ooh, my heart sank. I was like, this is it. What am I going to do when I get back to my house after this 2-mile walk and she's not with me? I don't know. But I'm going to keep walking because I trusted that I'd raised her right? I left her for 3 days alone with substance and stuff. If I can't let her off her leash on this route that we walk every single day for over a year, then what kind of a parent am I, right? What am I doing raising her? What am I doing even being able to have a dog? And so I just kept walking. I walked. And I saw her, I think, 2 or 3 times during that walk. It would just be like a dart. Oh, y'all, that was so stressful. Low key, I walked I think I walked through 2 songs, which was 6-7 minutes. And I didn't see her at all. I didn't see a flash or anything. And I was just because when she runs off, I couldn't even see when I was walking because she'd go faster than me. And it was dark. It was kind of foggy. And I was just so I paused one time, and I was just I stopped, and I was just stood, and I was looking around, and I did yell Yeti. I was Yeti. I didn't hear anything, and I was just and I looked at my phone, and I was what do I do? Do I yell for her name? No, do I stop walking? What do I do? What do I do in this situation? I was just I should have paused. I was just I have no idea what to do. Do I panic? I was debating whether I should panic. Should I keep going? Should I call her name, right? I was debating these things. And then all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere and I'm like, okay, that solves that. And so I just kept going. And so by the time I got to the house, right, I paused there and I just waited, and it took me like 30 seconds, and she came up and I was like, that was dope. That was dope. I gotta tell the Mormons about this. That was cool, right? Like, I like let my dog off a leash, being like, hey, I'm letting you off. Like, I trusted that I raised you right. Yeah, JC, yeah. Oh, let's go. So thank you, Mormons, for inspiring me to realize that I need to raise my child better. So thank you. Maybe I'll get her up to eating more healthy food. Right now we're on chicken nuggets and McDonald's. I did buy her a Happy Meal the other day. Which I made her eggs, and she had bread, she had a roll from the church. That's kind of nice. I tried giving her some like rice and chicken and kimchi, and she didn't eat her kimchi, and I was a little perturbed by that. I was like, excuse me, miss, that was the only thing she didn't eat out of her tray. And so, but when I was little and I had kimchi, I would wash it off because it was too spicy for me. So I understand. So maybe I'll wash it off and try it that way. However, going to this ward though, the Fast and Furious, this was my first time ever attending like a bilingual environment, or like more like a diverse environment, right? They also have the Spanish service afterwards, which I was aware that that's where the female missionaries were assigned, but I went to the service with the English. And so I met the two young missionaries. Oh my gosh, I forgot their names, but one was from Arizona and one was from Washington. It was so much fun. They're like, guess where we're from? And I'm like, ooh. And I was looking at them and I was like, no, not Utah. Too obvious to be Utah. And then one of them said something. I forgot what he said, just the way he phrased it. Like, oh, like, he just said like a normal phrase, like, oh, you can get it, or something like that. But the way he said it, his tone, and I was like, that's West Coast vibes. Only West Coast has those vibes. You're definitely not an East Coaster. But I was debating between Midwest, but I was like, when he said that, I was like, West Coast vibes for sure. Like, you are west of the Rockies, right? I'm pretty sure on the Lewis and Clark expedition, they were like, the vibe changes once you cross these mountain range. Just be aware of that, y'all. Like, TJ, Thomas Jefferson, vibes change past this mountain range. And it's a thing, right? It's a real thing. And it did. And so I said West Coast. I think I might have said Midwest, but I was trying to say like the Rocky Mountain region, right? Because I was thinking of that region, that geographic region. So I said, actually, I was like Colorado or California or like West Coast vibes. And then one of them was from Washington and Arizona. And I was like, oh, man. Which makes sense, right? Because if you look at it, right, if you think about like the geographic radius of like the epicenter of where LDS is stationed out of, it's like a shell, and everything progresses out like a wave, a ripple pattern, right? Humans follow the natural movement patterns of nature. And so same concept. But anyways, and so at the meeting, it was super awesome. I just like randomly sat down, and I brought the little goodie bag for the girls that I made. And I just asked them, like, hey, can you give it to them? And I felt so bad because one of them was like holding the bag, and it's like not a light bag, y'all. There was a lot of stuff in it. And he was holding it, and I was talking to them both for a while before the service started. And he was holding it, and I was like, bro, I had to hold that bag. I'm aware how heavy it is. And he was like, you can tell it was starting to get heavy because we were talking for a while, and he held on to it the whole time. And I was like, rock on, dude. And then during the service started, we sang the hymnals, super awesome. He came in and sat next to me when the service started. And one thing I noticed that was unique about this congregation that was different from the other ones that I went to was that it was so diverse. I saw so many different diverse people. Like, I saw people with like different dyed hair. I saw this one family, they look like Vikings. Like, they look like straight out of the movie Vikings or whatever it is, like the super cool haircut. And he looked like he was from like How to Train Your Dragon, like that. It was dope. And they're like blonde too. I think they're like sandy blonde. And I was like, you guys look like Norse gods. Like, walked up into the LDS chapel, man. It was cool. Like, there was so much diversity there. There was so much different culture. And then there was someone there that gave her last testimony. She wasn't even English. I don't think she was Spanish, but she was speaking in a different she said English wasn't her first language. Oh, and she said some beautiful things. And then there was a guy that gave his testimony for the first time in English instead of Spanish. Oh, it was cool. This was unique. the congregation itself, there was so much diversity of life there. Not that I don't love white rice, but sometimes I like confetti, and like confetti's fun, man. I love color, and that place was full of color. In how expressive people were, where you could tell that they were from all sorts of different backgrounds, right? Oh, and I loved it. And so when I was sitting there, I forget the missionary's name, but they thought my name was Nancy, and I was like, I love that, dude, because it sounds way better than Sharon. Sharon sounds like, I was like, no one under 50 is named Sharon. And then one of them was like, well, my aunt's named Sharon or whatever. And I was like, is she under 50? And he was like, yeah, actually she is. And I was like, oh. And then he was like, she's 48. And I was like, well, exactly, right? Like Sharon is not a good name, right? It's just like, it sounds old. Like I've tried playing around with like Shar or like Cher, still old, right? Look how old Cher is, right? Okay. Oh, there's no way to make Sharon cool. And so Nancy, I'll take Nancy, man. So whenever I go to that war, I was like, my name's Nancy. Like Nancy's fun, right? Nancy sounds like peppy, right? Oh, where's my potato? It sounds like my potato. It looks like my potato. Hi, I'm Nancy, right? I will not go on a pilgrimage because I'm already running long. And so when a couple people went first, I forget who went first, but when I was sitting there, the guy, oh no, hold on. Let me talk about when y'all did the food, when y'all passed around the food. It's actually super intriguing and very unique to see the different ways that people took sacrament compared to the different wards, how they literally took sacrament. Because there's some people that like throw it back like this, like some people like they took a sip like this, and at other places I've been, I'm not gonna say what wards they've been, but every time someone took it, they were like, right, like they were throwing back a shot. These people here, it was like, if I were to reenact what I perceived, the people at this sacrament, they were just like very, like they took it very gently, and then they just like, it was like they were sipping tea, and they placed their cup in there. Versus other places where I've seen it, they like, it's more like, take their cup and they're like, and I'm like, wow, right? And I understand it because it's supposed to symbolize drinking blood. So there's different ways you can approach drinking blood. I would probably go for the shot route too, okay? Because there's something so sacred and reverent about literally like taking your time to just like take in that moment and fully contextualize and imagine that what you're drinking is truly another human's blood, right? It's just like, there's so many cool ways to approach it. So it was really unique to see it here. And then this congregation was actually, there's more of a Hispanic population, and Hispanic culture is very heavily rooted in different tradition of honoring reverence and sacredness, right? They come from a different background, different culture, right? Same level of reverence, but a different way of expressing it. And so it was really cool to see how they approached it. And actually when one of the Aaronite priests were going around doing the bread, one of the woman in the pew, I saw, she went to grab it, and I guess it accidentally tore a little piece off it. The bread accidentally broke from the piece that she was trying to get, and she ate it, and it was like she didn't want to like double reach. And the Aaronite, he noticed it, and he said, no, like take the full piece, like, and he waited for her to do it. And she was like, no, it's okay. And he said, no, he waited. And I was like, that is some good situational awareness, yo. Like, you recognize what occurred, you waited, you didn't let her like fear of like taking two cause you to not be like, no, like I saw what happened, like you got like your piece broke off, like take the full piece. It was cool. It was really, really cool that exchange. Because then later on when they were passing around the water, there was another person that for some reason asked for 2 cups. And then he was like, no, you can only take 1. And he's like, no, I want 2. And the guy was like, no, you can only take 1. And it was cool for him to just stand in like authority to this obviously this other person that was older than him when they were trying to disturb what the purpose of that was. And it was cool to see. I was just like, that's dope. That's super dope for like a young person to say to a person, right? Being like, hey, I want 2. Like, I don't even think he asked. He was like, I'm taking 2 or something like that. And he was like, no, only 1. You're only allowed 1. And it was, I love seeing that, because it's really hard a lot of times for young people, especially people that are a minority, to go out and stand in that type of confidence when dealing with the outside world or dealing with adults, dealing with different situations like that. And so that was cool to see. And the guy respected it, and the guy took one. And I was like, yeah, dude. And it just showed, it was super cool. It was super cool. It was a respectful, like, moment of potential conflict that was easily squashed without even anyone noticing. And I was like, y'all probably do some really great things outside of this church, or like, guarantee it, which I'm already aware of y'all already doing. So after that was cool. And a woman went up, and actually the missionary was sitting next to me. He was like, hey, I told him, I was like, he told me, he's like, hey, you came on a unique time because people, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go up there. And he was like, if you go up there, I'll go up there. And I was like, deal, I'm doing it. But he told me, because he's from Seattle, he's from Washington. He told me his home ward has services in French. And I was like, what? No way. Yo, how many people are aware from Washington State that there was that much of a French population? I was blown away. And I was like, wait, what? You guys have French services? It made sense to me for like Texas and Spanish services. And he's like, oh yeah, we have French services where I'm from. And I'm like, Washington State? Like, this isn't like a different planet, is it? Like Washington State. Like, I used to live in Washington State, and I was so unaware that there was that much of a French population that they would hold services for it and like whole other things for it. And I was just like blown away by this, blown away by it. I was like, bro, I've been living under a rock. I had no idea that there was that many French people in Washington. And I visited this year. I visited earlier this year. I live there. I have familiarity with Washington culture. And I had no idea that there was that much of a French population. And that was extraordinary to me. I was just like, that's cool. I wanted to keep talking to him during the sermon. So I stopped though, because I was so excited. I was like, oh, okay. We'll talk about it later. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to go up there. And so I went up there. This is my turn. And a woman went. And then as she was going, she actually inspired me because of what she was saying. Because I was like, I'm going to go. She inspired me to go. I was like, oh, I'm going to go. Because I was actually, honestly, like, I don't always want to go to talk. Because I talk enough, right? I want to go to, like, just be a part of the experience. I just want to I want to be a sponge and just like take every source of inspiration that you guys give me. But then when I get there, I just get so overwhelmed with inspiration and I'm like, I can't sit still. I have to express it. I can't clap, so let me go up there and talk and express it and tell how thankful I am to be here. And before I even went up there, when I was sitting there by myself, or after we sang a song, a woman behind me leaned over and said, are you visiting here? Are you new? What's your name? And I was like, yeah, it's my first time. And she like welcomed me. And that's what I love. Like, people like don't hesitate to there's no fear. Like they just lean in and be like, hey, are you visiting? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then they said, welcome. And I'm like, thank you. I feel so welcome. So much fun. And so when I went up there and I was sitting, because then there was a young man actually. Ooh, I'm going to try not to cry. There was a young man that gave his testimony after her. But then as she was walking off, she gave me a hug. And I was like, hi! Like, yeah, you. And I told her, like, you inspired me to come up here. And I was like, that was so cool. I love getting hugs. I do love handshakes too, but I love hugs. But that young man, okay, so young man, I think he was of he was of a different ethnic background. He wasn't white on rice, y'all. Okay, he wasn't white on rice. I have no idea what his background was, but he wasn't completely white. He started sharing his testimony. He said, something must have occurred in his life. Something very traumatic. Because his father kicked him out of his house. And when a parent does that to a child, y'all, that's just the most sacred opportunity and gift. It's saying, hey, I trust what you're doing with your life, and I'm handing you off to the next people. And you know what happened? Oh, you know what happened? Guess who took him in? The bishop. Oh, guys, tell me that is not a parent. Okay, you're right. It sometimes gets disguised as like a painful thing because sometimes kids don't want to leave the nest. That dad, for some way, shape, or form, kicked his son out the door, said, "Spread your wings, son. It's about time. Go spread your wings." And guess where he spread his wings to? The bishop. And that young man, when he told his testimony, you could tell he felt so worthy and valued because of the bishop's actions. The bishop just turned into his superhero. And the LDS is his superhero right now, guys. And his dad basically gave the handoff, because I'm sure his dad was aware that he's going to church and stuff, right? His dad subconsciously gave the handoff saying, "I'm aware of the environment you're in, and I trust them with you, and I need to break ties with you so you learn from these people." Like, you have the potential and these people can show you how to use it. It was cool. And then the LDS rose to that. The bishop rose to that, man. And it was so great to hear his story. And then just to hear how inspired he was. That boy is on fire. He wants to talk about worthiness. He wants to talk about everything and anything associated with LDS. He is so proud to be LDS, and for good reason, man. He's in good hands. It was just like, it was really cool to just see so much raw potential and desire be placed in the hands and support of people that truly care about him and will raise him and teach him how to unlock all that potential within him that he is so eager to utilize. And it was just like, it was so inspiring. This is my cry blanket too. It was so good. And then this dude talks, and I was like, how can I was trying I didn't cry when I was there when this kid gave his testament. But man, I was holding back tears. I was like trying not to cry. I was like, don't do it. You're about to talk. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? But so it was my turn. And so I was like, man, I'm just going to tell these people why I'm even here, because I only came to this board. This is the story. This is the story I told. So I started because I went to the turkey trot, right? I told that story. I went to the turkey trot. I got to take a hit. I got to take the hit of the Holy Ghost, right? You want to see it in real life? Watch me blow it out. Sorry, I realized why certain people think I'm being disrespectful, because I believe that you guys think certain topics are like reverent. But it's hard for me to not perceive the totality of existence as reverent. So like, man, I can hype up this Sharpie like nobody's business, right? It's called a Sharpie for a reason, because it's sharp, it's permanent, it lasts. It's orange to catch attention like the bright glistening sun, right? What colors are the sun if not orange and yellow? The rising sun and the setting sun. That's why it's called a Sharpie. It's sharp. It's meant to be sharp and permanent. It's meant to be stick. It's meant to stand out. Okay, when you equally, lovely, reverently express things, right? It's a fine point, but you have to be careful with those things, right? Because what else does this look like if not in a male appendage? Known as a finger, okay? Guys, don't go there. Females have fingers too. I digress. So, when the totality of existence is reverent, y'all, I just love everything. So I apologize if anyone finds anything that I say as disrespectful or reverent. It's just like, I perceive everything as reverent. So it's hard for me to discern what's supposed to be reverent and what's supposed to be like less reverent. Okay, so apologize if I'm breaking up that vibe. But you guys, I don't know, you guys see everything as reverent based on what you've demonstrated. So I'm just like, I'm with my people. Anywho, where was I going with this? Oh, so when I went up there, y'all, you're lucky that I don't get up there doing these, they're supposed to be fast and furious, so I keep it quick. When I'm actually there, I keep it quick, but right, I'm going on 34 minutes right now. But I went up there, I already told my story of the turkey trot. When I was like because I realized the Mormons were at the end, the missionaries were at the end. I saw them like at the last mile. And it was when I saw them, when I recognized the suit and tie, right? I was like, because I can't really see far away very clear. It's kind of like, it's just, I see movement. But when I recognize certain movement, I'm like, I recognize what that is, right? I'm like, that's a Mormon. And that hyped me up. Seeing all of them there hyped me up. I was just like, I felt like there was hundreds of them. Hundreds of young people, all in their suit and ties, handing out water, right? Like, I was like, bro, how symbolic is this? Y'all, like, LDS, the Latter-day Saints, handing out water to people that are seeking water, that are thirsty. Whoa! I passed the water station because I was so inspired. And I, like, got my second win, my, like, kick at the end of the race. And then at the end, right, that's when I told my story about, like, the things I noticed at the end of, like, the kid I was racing and seeing another person and seeing people that are old and young. I started noticing that after I noticed the LDS members. And so as I was nearing the finish line, right, I was kind of tearing up. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure I have some, like, ugly race photos at the end because I have, like, my eyes are red and I'm like, you know, like, doing something like that. And I said, but then I met, like, female missionaries and I was so inspired there, and some of them went here. And then I found out they went to this ward, so I wanted to come visit and bring them a goodie bag and just so pass forward and say thank you for inspiring me, because that started here. And so that's why I'm here. So thank you. And I went down to my chair. Oh, and then I said too, because, like, I'm still unfamiliar with what you guys say, but I'm pretty sure it ends in amen, and it says the word Jesus. Hold on. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I think that's it. I think that's what you guys say. Because I think that's what the Baptists say too when they finish their prayers. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I'm pretty sure. But I wasn't sure. I was too excited when I was up there. I was kind of nervous. And so I was like, but I don't know what you guys say. So I was like, peace be with you. And that's when everyone laughed. I was like, yay, we gotta laugh. I said, peace be with you. This is the Star Trek symbol. So, like, innovation. You know, you guys are innovative. And also peace. Who doesn't love peace? So thank you. And then I walked out. But a couple other people, and then the missionary, the missionary that sat next to me, actually, hold on, I'm gonna talk about him. He's from Washington, whatever ward has French and English services, okay? Wherever he's from. Y'all, shout out to y'all, because that young man has some serious good public speaking, some serious fear, like, zero fear, man. He tackles fear head on, right? He came up to me, he sat next to me. He challenged me because I was like, oh man, I kind of want to go up there. He said to me, if you go up there, I'll go up there. And I was like, bet. I don't turn down a bet. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. If I want to do a bet, I'll do it. But if someone offers me a bet, I can easily turn it down logically, right? And make it not be a bet about me. Anyways, I didn't do that because I wanted to do it, right? I needed a reason to go up there, and that was it. But when he got up there and shared his testimony, y'all, I was like, I felt like I was watching me up there. Like, it was the confidence in him, his ability, his fluidity with words, his eye contact, his emotional engagement, his tone, his clarity. Oh, extraordinary. And he even said too, he's like, I guess he comes from a background, because where I'm from, where I grew up, I was the minority, and he's like a white kid. And he's like, so I love interacting with other people. I love seeing people that are, like, different and just, like, making them feel welcome. He sees the human behind anyone, and he makes them feel like they are, like, part of the group. And I could see that in him, man. He's rock solid. He's rock solid. I was so impressed by him. And actually, it's him. I'm going to meet with them and the other group, a group of the missionaries, to go through the lessons with them, because I want to get my lessons from them. I was like, so I exchanged the contact info, and I was like, I want to get my lessons from you, dude, for the process, to continue my process. Because it was like, I was so impressed. I'm so impressed by those young people at that ward. Man, they're amazing. They're amazing. And then he was like, oh man, your name's Sharon? Oh, I thought it was Nancy. And he was so upfront about it. And then it was so funny because someone else came up being like, bye, Nancy. And then we, like, kind of laughed as we clarified. He's like, oh, apologies, I thought your name was Nancy. I'm like, no, that actually sounds way better than Sharon. And then someone came up and said, bye, Nancy. And I was like, yes. No, my name's Nancy when I come here. And it was cool for him, right? Where someone makes a mistake like that, and he just like, no shame, no fear, no embarrassment. He was like, oh, yeah, my bad, man. I called you Nancy. And I was like, you're going to do good things in the church, like, you're going to be on that apostle and quorum real soon, man, or whatever the thing is. I don't know what the age group is, but that kid's fearless. And he's got good clarity on his head. He's got some good stuff going. Anyways, a woman got up, the final person that shared their testimony. Oh my gosh, hold on. Sorry, there's so many cool people. Then there's a little girl, and also, hold on. I gotta give y'all a shout out, because y'all's pulpits, I need to know the secret. it just changes. It just automatically changes. No one moves. No one that's sitting up there moves, right? But the pulpit, the podium, automatically adjusts to your height. And I have no idea how it's done. I'm assuming there's some sort of sensor, maybe like a laser that gauges how tall you are, so it automatically hits until the sensor goes off, so it, like the height ratio or whatever. But I'm like, this is cool. This is cool that it automatically adjusts to whoever's standing here, like their height. That's cool technology. That was cool. Because when I got up there, when I first got up, I was like, whoa, it's changing again. Because I saw it at the other chapel or the other place I went to. But then I don't know. I just tuned into it because I was like, wow, it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, this thing automatically does that. It was really cool. It was really cool. That's rare, right, y'all? Like no one moved. It was like magic. No one was moving at all. But every time, no matter who got up there, it adjusted to their height. And I couldn't figure out the mechanism. I was looking at it and I was just like, how is this occurring? It's got to be by lasers. It's got to be by lasers. It's not by weight. It's got to be by lasers and some sort of height because no one's moving, no one's controlling it. It's got to be by that. Anyways. So if anyone wants to tell me like how these pulpits work, I guess I could ask you guys, or you guys can fill me in, or I can Google it. I don't know. It's more fun to hear what you guys have to say about it because from where I'm sitting, it's magic. Y'all, there's no logic that I can compute that logically. No, we can lesion through it, but I'm not gonna go through it. Okay, I'm not gonna go through it. Anywho, this child got up there with her dad. Oh, it was so cute. And they're like in their Christmas colors. And she was so scared. She was young. She was really young. She was like the age when I got up on the stage and like farted and like hit my head on the mic, right? When I first had that traumatic experience, public speaking. Oh, yeah. That was smart to accompany a child up to the platform with you, man. Good call on that, because they let me go up there when I was in like the Christmas play, and I botched that. Like certain age groups, especially me, should not be trusted by myself, right? I need a chaperone. But she gave her little testimony, and you could tell she was really nervous. So her dad was like whispering in her ear to help her say the words in front of everyone. And then he was like, well, since I'm up here, I'm gonna give my testimony too. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, it was cool. It was cool because you could tell he was nervous. And then, like, but he was helping his daughter. And then he was like, well, you know what? Shoot, since I'm up here, like, might as well say something, right? It was cool. It was super cool to see that. And then the final person that got up there, though. Dude. No, there's two people. There's two people. One of them talked about actually, like, physics concepts, the 4 fundamental forces of the universe. Strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force. What was the last one they had? I don't know. There's some last force that I think nature or science has as the 4th force of nature, which, we won't get into that. But she had this beautiful thing and talked that's what it was. Oh, because she was like, I feel so weak. Lately, I feel so weak. And she's like, English is not my first language, so apologize, and she literally articulated, and you could feel like she was speaking from a place. You know when someone speaks from a place where they are just like broken, like at the end of their rope, like broken. That woman conveyed that up there, and all she had to do was say like, I feel so weak. I feel so weak in everything that I do. I feel so weak in every effort that I put forth. It's just, I feel so weak. Everything I do, I always feel weak. Ugh. And then she'll say, but I was on scrolling social media and I saw this physics post about the 4 fundamental forces of the universe. I think they included gravity as one of them. That little article that she read, right? But she focused in on the strong and weak forces. There's literally forces that scientists name as like the fundamental forces of the universe called the strong and weak force, okay? And she said, like, that gave her hope and courage, right? Being like, even the weak forces, right? Even the ones that like, where the effort feels like it doesn't matter, where it's classified as weak, it's still is held together by the strong force and like the balancing of it. And I was just like, that was really beautiful, right? Like for a regular person to get up from the audience and to speak with such raw, authentic, vulnerable emotion, with combining high concepts of like physics, like science, and the raw human expression of everyday experience, and correlating it to how it relates to the doctrine and like the inspiration of like everything that the framework is entails and is like magnificent about it, right? She correlated all of that. That's so incredibly rare for someone, right? For science and religion to coexist so beautifully and just flawlessly out of that person's mouth. And for everyone to understand it. That's beautiful, right? People normally can't bring up physics like that and bring people to tears like that and make people feel relatable, right? People don't bring up physics, usually the fundamental forces of the universe, to express a sense of worth and belonging. And she did it. It was like flawless. But I held back my tears. I held them back, right? I held them back. I didn't cry. I didn't cry through all of this until the last person got up there. Dang it, she broke me. Because I'm trying to hold my tears in, right? Or be more, not liberal. What is it called? I don't know. I'm trying to cry less, y'all. I'm trying to cry less. It's not a good look. Your eyes get itchy. Sometimes they get puffy. But I think actually my eyes have adapted because they don't even like get puffy. They just kind of like, I think they're just like, bro, we're just used to this much moisture. Just whatever. Like, do whatever. Like, anyways. The last woman got up there. I believe she was from New York. She actually had like a gray shawl on. She looked like an old, like ancient, like wisdom teller, right? Like it was just so, I'm gonna set the scene. She got up there. She told the story about when she was younger, I guess, how she got into the church maybe, or something like that. She was at the church and she was fortunate to host missionaries or something like that. She was hosting the 2 missionaries and she was in an all-white town, she said. She was like, y'all, when you talk about white, I come from where white on rice originated, right? That's the town she grew up in. But the 2 missionaries that showed up, one was from Tonga, and one was Navajo. Hello, do you guys realize how extraordinary that is? And I guess the Navajo person had more friends or family members that were like familiar with LDS, so she invited them over, like brothers and sisters like of that person's family, to have the dinner at her house. They had such good fellowship together. Oh, this is gonna make me cry. When she told the testimony about one of the Navajo young men or whatever, I think he was a visitor, wasn't even a member, got up there in front of the all white congregation, right? This town where like color doesn't exist. The only color is white. He got up there in the tabernacle during the Fast and Furious, I guess, and he spoke his testimony in nothing but Navajo. And I died crying. I could not hold back tears when I heard that. Because do you know how extraordinary it is? First off, for a Native American to get up in front of a room full of white people that are known as colonizers, that are known as the settler, that are known as the people that took their homes, and to feel safe and welcomed enough to share his testimony in his native tongue is just like, and for him to be welcomed like that and to have a place, right, between Native Americans and American government, y'all, There's bad blood there. There's so much bad blood there. There's so much hate and resentment and just like bad blood there. Bad misunderstanding. And to hear that story, to hear it come from it originating within the framework of LDS, I was like, that makes complete sense. And I could not hold back tears, because do you know how rare that is? For someone of Navajo, of Native American, indigenous tribe descent, to feel comfortable enough, to feel inspired enough, to feel welcomed enough, to get in front of a group of people that his people blame and most certainly hate, for him to share his testimony in his native language, to bring his culture in and say, thank you for welcoming me here. Right? No one understood a word he said, right? There's a reason the Navajos were the wind talkers during World War II. Okay? For that peace pipe, y'all. This is for my Native American friends out there. Peace pipe. That is some cool stuff, dude. And for it to occur with an LDS, why am I not surprised? As I sit here in a quilt made by women in India that represent Hinduism, Sikh, all sorts of different cultures. Right? Combining with the saints of the latter days. Y'all are living up to your name. Like, it is just phenomenal to just experience that. Like, it's surreal. It low key, like, I think that's why I like sitting in the services, because I literally feel like I'm sitting in the future. It's cool. It's just so cool. Just be surrounded with so many like minds that just like are so on fire to just do so much with their lives and their existences and with existence itself. It's just like so cool. Anyways, so I stayed this time because I had time. I stayed and I went to the Sunday school. I originally, because the woman behind me was like, oh, you can come with me to the thing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. And so I went with them. And I met a couple more people, because one guy, because I told my story about running and how it helped me. Dude, I met a dude. He reminded me of Elder Suarez. I remembered his name now because we watched a video in Sunday school. Because I went to a different Sunday school. Because I got taken out of one Sunday school. I went to another Sunday school. And we watched a video on Suarez, the guy, Elder Suarez, the Brazilian man that spoke at the General Conference. Had the purple tie. Very beautiful man. Very aesthetic. If I was a man, I want to look like him. I just liked his skin tone. Very like pretty, like very good complexion, beautiful accent, and I love his little glasses. Anyways, I met a Hispanic man, and I reminded me of him, like all through and through. And he was 80 years old. And when he told me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to turn 80," and I'm just like. I stopped him. I was like, wait, what? I made him show me his ID, because I did not believe him. I was like, there's no way you're 80. I need proof. Like, do you have proof that you're 80 years old? There's no way. And he pulled out his driver's license, and I was like, oh my gosh. You were like, no way. He looked low key 50. I told him, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, he looked like he was 50. 50 at max. At max. I was floored. I was like, dude, you've got some jeans on jeans, man. Like, I want to look like you if I was a dude too, man. It was beautiful. Like, I was like, holy cow, you found the fountain of youth, man, Ponce de Leon. Makes sense that you're Hispanic, right? What's the secret, dude? Where are you hiding it? Yeah, it was super cool. But I guess his daughter runs marathons. Because we were talking about that, because I shared my story, and he used to run 5Ks. But at the Sunday school thing I went to, it was so nice. I went to the other one. After I went to the one with all women. It was in the room for the society, the Relief Society. The room said Relief Society. It was a bit chilly in there, actually. So I was glad I moved to the other room, or I moved to the second half of the gymnasium, which I found out the Spanish service. I said, is the Spanish service even more packed than this? And they're like, oh, the Spanish service, we have to open up that divide to fill this place. And I was like, oh, no way. I kind of wanted to stay, but I had some other stuff to do. Like drugs, right? No, I'm just kidding. There was some other stuff I had to do. But I was like, wow, that's so inspiring. And that's when he told me about the French thing. And I was like, wait, what? You have French services in Washington State? I'm like, holy cow, that's a whole nother thing I just never expected. And then Sunday schools. Yeah, so I was in the Sunday school with the Relief Society. And then there was all the women, and then there was one of the Aaronic priests in there, and then there was like a dude in there too. So I believe they were doing like some sort of like mission or I don't know, like training thing. But then one of the other Sunday school teachers wanted me to go attend the other Sunday school, and so I was like, okay, with the missionaries, the one that's from Washington. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go. And so I went with them, and we watched the video with Elder Suarez. I learned his name. I'm terrible with names, y'all. There's a lot of names that have occurred over the period of human's history, and to try to remember and be familiar with them is very challenging, very, very challenging. There's a lot of names, right? I barely remember my own name, like, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So we talked about, and I got to read a Bible verse, I got to read D&C 136. No, I got to read verse 36. It was 138. It was like 130, right? I think it was D&C 138. And I read verse 36. It was my turn. We're like popcorning or whatever, moving down. My turn, mine was 36. So I got to read that. And, I loved, I went to like, I guess it was like I went to the beginner's class for like Sunday school. And that, I loved it. I loved it, right? Because the beginner's class, that's where you get to see the waves crash that once started as a ripple. That's where you see it. That's where you see the full fan, the full beautiful mosaic that is representative of past, present, and future of LDS. And I had that this morning, and it was just magical. The amount of input, the amount of diversity of people giving examples, right? There's this one guy, he was good. And then the guy that was like super excited that's living with the bishop right now, or that the young man, he is on fire, man. He feels he feels very valued right now. He feels extremely valued and just extremely, it was so inspiring to hear him talk. It was, I asked him actually afterwards, I was just like, dude, can I give you a hug? I was like, I wanted a hug. And he like just immediately gave me a hug and gave me a good hug. And I was like, thank you for sharing your words. It was just like that young man is just like so eager to help and support in any way, shape that he can. And it's just so adamant. He is so ready to learn, and he is in the best hands. Like I'm proud of that dad, dude. I'm proud of that dad. Y'all, see, this is another reason I drank, because I got to celebrate. I'm just so proud of like all the things. And naturally when I celebrate, I invoke a state like euphoria and bliss. And that involves alcohol, right? I need to be less happy. I think that's my problem. I'm just too happy. JC, help me. And also drugs usually help people invoke, right? Humans use drugs to like feel sad and shame and like, right? That's why they have all these like addiction programs and stuff. So I'm trying to get in that vibe. I'm trying to empathize and understand the people that are going through things that turn to drugs. And the only way to do it is to keep putting forth effort. It's either that, well, it's kind of long. Let me go on one field trip. I'm going to go on one pilgrimage, but we'll leave you guys here like that. Okay, Because, right, I got to put forth effort like you guys are showing. I love science. So I got to do I said I'm going to try to turn wine to water every single day. So at least, y'all, remember how much I used to fill up my cup? Look what you guys are inspiring me to do. That's a huge improvement. Okay, but that is still wine. Okay. Oh well, right? You can't get there unless you keep trying, right? So I'm gonna keep trying. One of these days, maybe it'll turn to water. And you guys are gonna be the first to know, because low key, do you know how cool it's gonna be if like this actually turns to water? Yeah, it's gonna be real cool. So, nope, still wine. Maybe if I hold up my membership card and this, I'm gonna turn to wine. Maybe, I don't know. Oh no, what I was gonna say. But after the service, okay, there was a guy in the back because we were talking about the lesson plan. It was so much fun. I loved it. It was so eager. But also, I found out someone said that the little kids get juice boxes and snacks during their Sunday school. And I was like, and actually, the other time I attended the kids' class, someone brought Oreos. The teacher brought Oreos. And so I was kind of sad, and I was like, oh, why don't we have juice boxes? Right? Who doesn't like a little snack when they're learning? And then like sitting together and learning. It makes learning more fun. Anyways, there was one man, because they were like asking like questions and stuff, and one guy, I loved his answer. And he was like, he's gonna do some good things in the church too, y'all. He was like the perfect, he was Hispanic, but he was like super like dapper, a little bit larger, but he had a Grinch tie, or like a Christmas tie on. So well spoken and articulate. He was able to relate something, like, cause they were, I guess part of the lesson was like, how do we relate to people? Like, how do we help people understand what we believe or whatever, right? Like, how do we allow people to better learn about our, like, who we are and like what we have to share. And he made the perfect example of relating the lifestyle, and then just like how awesome LDS is, but he correlated it to food. And he invoked Spanish food. And he was like, what do you get when you, oh man, he like chicken and fajitas, but he said it with like his like beautiful, like, like the native accent, like, cause I say fajitas, or some real white people say like fajitas, but he was like fajitas, like, like the accent. It's so cool. It just makes it like, be like, bah, like it just sounds, I don't know, it sounds like cool to me. And so he was saying that, but he's like, but what's your side? Rice and beans. And then he said something about like, but what if you wanted flautas? But what is your side? What comes with your flautas? Rice and beans. And he gave one more example. And then everyone's like, and he's like, what does that come with? I'm like, rice and beans. And he's like, exactly. And then, but he correlated it. He made it, first off, it made me hungry. I was like, wow, I'm hungry now. I want to go get Mexican food. Actually, I might go to Las Palapas after this. That actually is a good idea, because I am craving rice and beans now that I said that. That would be a good idea. I have nothing else I'm doing today. And you know what? I might not even order a margarita. Dude, that would be actually that would be new for me. If I didn't order a drink if I went. Ooh, that'd be hard for me. Because right? If this turns to water, maybe I won't order a drink. I'm just kidding. No, I should do that. I might do that. I realized that I've never eaten at that restaurant without ordering a drink. Huh? Because I always get like the dosarita. It's big, right? It's literally, I talked about it in one of my other videos. It's like alcohol and alcohol. Oh, I should do the thing, right? There's a little bit of sludge left. I should do what the Catholics do and just like mix it, dilute it out. Because that's what the Catholics do. They have to like rinse it out with backwater. Oh, that actually tasted like flavored water. I thought it was going to be worse. I started trying to chug it because I thought it was going to be worse. Huh? Wow, you learn something new every day. That's actually not bad. Look, y'all are helping me transition. Maybe now I will start mixing my alcohol with water. Maybe I'll do that. Should I do that? Sorry, one more pilgrimage. Hey! Hey, y'all. Go here, honey. I just realized that. This is how I turn wine to water. I start by diluting it first. Because eventually, right? Eventually, it's going to, I'll keep replacing it with water. Oh, y'all are brilliant. This is a really good idea, actually. It's a really weird way to remix wine, I'll be honest, because now it reminds me, well, this reminds me of the peach flavored water from Korea. And I have such good memories of drinking or living in Korea and drinking the peach water when I was little. Oh, wow, that would have never happened unless I went to the service. Wow. Wow, I'm shocked right now. This is good. This actually tastes better than box wine. Oh my gosh. Huh? And I'm doing this with box wine. Y'all, box wine already is gross. And then I diluted it with water just now. Ooh. Y'all are being good influences on me. And I just put that together. That's wild. I didn't even realize that was occurring. Oh, goodness. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. I feel exposed. But as Justin Bieber said, never say never. Okay? Oh, I think I'm going to go get some fish tacos, actually, because now I want rice and beans because of that example that dude gave and how he correlated it to the doctrine and the beliefs and the lifestyles of LDS. And as I talked about it, I just convinced myself to dilute my alcohol and go get rice and beans and fish tacos without ordering a drink. Wow. That's going to be the challenge, though. Do I really not order a drink, or do I order a drink? But I think I'm tempted to not order a drink and go eat it. Cause that'll low key be a first for me. New cognitive thresholds are being opened up right now. I like this. I'm gonna go get fish tacos now because of this. Y'all, look how cool this is. Ah, what a great Sunday. I did not expect this. I did not anticipate this. I will, however, take one more hit of weed. This is fake weed, y'all. It's legal. I got it from the store down the street. Ugh. Although, I have nothing wrong with real drugs. Because again, oxygen and water are drugs. Oxygen and water are very important drugs, actually, for certain reactions that physics use. So, drugs are good when utilized with discernment. Which you guys are teaching me! Let's go! And then this invoked those memories of the peach flavored water that's at Lotte World. Or it's called Lotte World water. I don't know, that's the brand. But what reminds me of this is the carbonated water from HEB that's white grape flavored. They literally have a white grape flavored HEB drink. So if you want to try that and see what this tastes like, that's exactly it. That's the carbonated version of what this tastes like and what it reminds me of my memories in Korea and all sorts of great, wow, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful story arc there. That's a beautiful thread to pull. But I've talked long enough. Oh, I will say, hold on. Because right across the street, actually, was a cemetery. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to say one more thing. Because as I was leaving, so funny, I pulled out. I didn't realize there was just one entrance. So I pulled out, and then there's two missionaries talking to a guy, and I waved by, and I'm driving this way. Broha was aware that was a dead end. I drove maybe 20 more, it was 50 yards, but it was all gated in. And I realized it was gated in, and I was like, he waved me by knowing that I was driving to a dead end, and I waved him back, being like, bye, and I was like, oh, moment, and I thought I was cool, right? I was putting on my sunglasses, all inspired, being like, oh, bye, going into the dead end. And so I was like, oh, oh, what an embarrassing moment. He's like, she has no idea. And so I pulled out and I turned around, I rolled down my window. I was like, Broha, you waved me by and you knew I was going to a dead end. And he was like, yeah, it was fun. It was funny. And I was like, that was pretty good though. That was a good one. And then that's when I decided to go get mimosas and champagne at the HEB. But before I did that, actually, I didn't decide that first. I didn't get the mimosa, and the only reason I got the mimosa because there was an HEB right after the cemetery. Because there's a cemetery right after the church. There was an entrance, and I was like, and I saw a lot of cars, and I saw a lot of glitter. Like, I saw a lot of, when I see a lot of movement, y'all, I get attracted to it. I don't know. Right? I'm like a little kid. Like, it's just glitter. And so I went and checked it out. And when I was there, though, oh, I cried. I sat in my car and cried for a hot minute, looking at all the beautiful things that I saw. And it was actually quite unique. So cool. People went out. It's like a thing. I didn't realize this was a thing. People go out and then they spend time at the graves and they were decorating for Christmas. People had so many, it was like an activity they did together. I saw one woman knitting as she had like Christmas ornaments decorated. I saw 3 women there at another place, like chatting, and like they had just decorated it. It was like a series of graves at where they were at or whatever. I don't actually know. They were all around one grave, but all the graves around them were decorated too. So I have no idea, but it was so cool to see. It was all decorated, and it was as if it was like a time to gather to remember what to celebrate. And they did it even with those that were like gone, right? Like I saw little kids and adults, like they were wrapping garland, like they were really ornate, like y'all, like honestly, it might become a thing for me now to go to graveyards and look at the decorations during Christmas, because that is way better than any lights that I've ever seen. Just like, there is so much love present. It was as if like everything within that place is just like everything from the outside world disappears. And all that's present there is just like pure presence with the moment. And just celebrating and honoring the sacred gift of existence, the sacred gift of life, the opportunity to like physically experience existence and be aware that you're experiencing it. It was just like so cool to see so many people like decorated so many cool things. There were people crying. There were people reading books. There were people laughing as if they were like lifelong friends meeting again, right? For a reunion. Like the 3 women there. I don't think they were family. I couldn't tell. I was a little confused with that vibe. I almost got out and asked somebody, I'm like, I'm so confused about what you guys are doing here, because like one of them had like a newspaper. And they're like, I was so confused by that one. And then right next to it actually was like, because it was like one of those, they were at an area where like the plots, there was no like tombstone thing. It was just like the markers on the ground, the flat ones. And they had like like people brought chairs. Like they hang out there. They hang out and they decorate, and they literally spend an afternoon there. And I sat there just like watching it all. And then like, it was as if like each, like the people that had come out or whatever, you could tell they decorated according to like certain things that person liked during the holidays, right? Like one person had like a bunch of like ornaments all over their like area. It was like all ornaments. Other people had it was like angels or like almost like nativity scenes all like were set up. Like people were, it was so beautiful. So beautiful, like little stockings. There was even Santa and like the Christmas wreaths. There was just like, there was balloons. I literally saw like blow up like a balloon. That was a star. It was a silver balloon though, I think. But it was like over someone's grave. Like, it was so beautiful. There was just so much Christmas. There was so much unique expression of Christmas and celebration that was going on in that graveyard. Like, it was as bumping and hopping and inspirational as what was occurring in that church. And I was just like, I was floored by it. And I think actually the reason I went to the graveyard was because of the lesson. It caught my attention. It caught my awareness. And so I went to go check it out. It's because in the lesson, I think they talked about death. They talked about dead people. And so I was like, whoa, coincidentally, there's dead people right next door. Let me go check it out. And so I did. And it was just like, I was so inspired. So when I was leaving there, I saw an HEB and I was like, well, I might as well get some champagne. Let's toast this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. And now look what's happened. I'm inspired to water down my wine, right? At least I'm doing fake drugs. What is defined as fake drugs, right? I don't even have the real drug. I could get it. But look, see, you guys are chasing me. And now I'm going to go eat fish tacos with rice and beans because of that guy's story and how well, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. He did such a good job correlating it to the doctrine and making it so easy to relate to, right? Like, bro, anyone can relate to food. You hooked me there, right? You already got your foot in the door by talking to me about food. And then you leading into talking about, like, and then like you're demonstrating by how you articulate yourself, how extraordinary LDS is. Yeah, I'm paying attention. Yeah, I agree. Everywhere. Even in the beginner Sunday school class. Oh, there was a dude actually, because we said the final prayer. And after he finished the prayer, he went like this. And so I said, oh, he must have been Catholic. Right? He did the cat. I don't know. Unless LDS does that. I don't know. And so he coincidentally, actually with the missionaries that were after, because I got their phone numbers or whatever, the missionaries, because we're gonna do the lessons. I'm gonna do my formal process or whatever. I told them about it. And so I'm gonna host them. I'm gonna invite them over. So we're gonna have that, and I can talk to them and get all my questions answered and hear all about them and just get more inspired, right? Shoot, maybe by that point I won't even like. I'll be drinking water out of this instead of wine, right? And so there was a guy that was there, like, this is what I love too, because he looked like me, right? He didn't look like he belonged to the typical, like, what you would picture an LDS person looking like. How about that, right? And he was going through he was getting a job doing, he does like cement work. He does cement art. He does like artistic cement or something like that. He did cement work, foundation work previously. And it sounds like he's very in tune with both right and left brain, analytical and like, I don't know, like emotional awareness. And so he's working now getting his education or his like training for laying foundation, like repairing foundations. And I was like, dude, that is like dope symbolism. First off, like you're coming from like the outside in. And I thought, that's when I thought he was Catholic. I was like, oh, were you Catholic? Were you Catholic? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know where the Catholic thing came from then. Or maybe I confused it with someone else. I don't know. Someone made the Catholic sign when I was in there. Or like did this. And I thought that was Catholic, but I don't know if other religions do it or not. And so and I was like, okay, whatever. But then it was so cool though. I was like, dude, you're going from like laying foundations to repairing foundations. How that aligns with the whole testimony of what you guys are doing to planet Earth. Like, dope. And then I told him, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I was like, well, you know, because I actually coincidentally met a guy, and I told him the story about how I met a guy at the Home and Garden Show who does, he started his own business. Oh, go on a field trip. Hold on. Pilgrimage. Apologies, guys. These are getting long. Not him. Look, this guy. I met him at the Home and Garden Show. And so, what did I write about him? And dude, this totally lines with the vibes of just like what LDS is doing. What did I write? I wrote Home and Garden Show, right? This is right here. Super amazing and honest dude who is a family business. Was super knowledgeable, even on origin of how repairing started from lighthouses. Who knew? Answered all my questions with beyond expert level, even though he never had formal education. Said I could shadow him if I desired. So funny, his name is Joe and his wife name is Jane. Literally, Joe Smith. That's literally the name of the business. Joe and Jane Smith. Dead. Because when he said it, I was like, oh my gosh, Joe Smith. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and I'm Jane. And I'm like, no. Guys, foundations first. And then I was just like, that, I bet he's LDS, y'all. I bet he's LDS. I wouldn't doubt it based on what, and then hearing that young man, and that's what it reminded me of. So I told him that story. And I said, dude, you know what? I'm glad I met you, because if anything ever happens to my foundation, I'm going to go to you guys. I'm going to go to you guys. I love this dude, but also I would go to LDS first. I don't know. You're right. Like, if you're working for someone that's like has a LD, like a foundation business in LDS, I'll go to you. I'll go to you based on what I've seen. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go get fish tacos. I'm not going to get a drink. I'm going to do that because I've never done it. Oh, I'm so excited. That's actually gotten me really excited. I love contrast. And this is something new for me. Yes, I love this. Thank you guys. Hopefully, you enjoyed the Fast and Furious experience with me. My recap of Fast and Furious. Thank you to that ward. Oh, and the girls sent me a picture with their goodie bag. There was more girl missionaries than I thought. I didn't realize. I think there was like 5 of them in the picture. I thought they were all at different wards. I thought there was only like 2 and 2, like 4 total. Like 2 at the Spanish, 2 at the English. So like 4 total females. Oh, I was way off. But whatever, you know, they got some free stuff. That's always good, right? So thank you. Peace be with you. Keep motivating me. Keep slaying, y'all. Period.